there are going to be times where you just question, like, why the heck am I still in school? Especially because you graduated. It's not mandatory to go to college, but you're going to have moments like that. Like, who told me to do this? Who told me? Who told me to sign up for this debt? Hey y'all, what's up? It's John. I'm back with another video. So today we're gonna vlog. Excuse my AirPod, but I just started. Excuse the noise because I'm like in the hallway. So anyway, excuse the noise because I'm in the hallway. But I just started my spring semester of my senior year of college, and I feel like I haven't been like transparent about my college experience. So something that I was thinking about was, being that I'm like coming to the end or whatever, I wanted to give like some advice or just share some of my experiences from like my overall college experience and see how this goes, and plus to document like graduation and stuff. So that should be fun. I might have to record this over because these doors is blowing mine, and I'm gonna see what it sounds like, but I'll be back. All right, so I just finished my second class, and I was wanting to make this video because I feel like I haven't been transparent about my college experience, and I've been through like a lot, not all bad, but just different types of college experiences. So I wanted to share on that, and some things that I probably talk about are like the transfer experience, going to school out of a state that I didn't originally live in, how that made me feel, going to different types of PWIs, if you don't know what a PWI is, as a predominantly white institution, and just other minor experiences that fit within that I'll be sharing. So I just wanted to expand on that because I feel like a lot of people could benefit from the stories that I would share. I don't know how personal I want to get, but I feel like the more personal the better. I don't know if I'm ready to share certain things, which is why I haven't talked about them yet, but I think I'm like moving on from certain situations, and more of it will make sense as I get to the end. Sorry if I'm like out of breath because I'm walking mad fast across campus right now, and it's cold and I can't really see because the sun is in my eye. But I'll go into that more. I don't know, maybe I'll do the first video, like maybe I'll just do a little snippet to introduce my college experience when I get home right now. So stay tuned for that, and I'm trying not to make this video super long, so I'm gonna try to be as concise as possible. Alright y'all, I had to go get me some coffee or whatever the case may be. But let's get into my college experience. Wait, let me backtrack. How do I want to do this? Okay. So this video, as you can see, is all over the place because I'm really trying to like process how I'm gonna discuss things without talking too much. So just bear with me. But hopefully this is gonna be like just a background, like a general background of how my experience has went, and then in other videos like down the line I'll go into detail about each. So I'm just gonna tell you about like since I graduated high school up until right now in the most general way possible. So alright, so I'm from Jersey, and I graduated from my high school in 2015. After I graduated high school in 2015, I originally left New Jersey and attended school, a Catholic school in Minnesota. I don't know if I should say the name of the school yet, but I attended a Catholic school in Minnesota, St. Joseph, Minnesota specifically, that's all I'll say. And I know like the first thing y'all probably saying is, why did you go across the country to go to school? We'll get into that. But mostly I just wanted like change. I needed to be in an environment where I felt like it was really gonna challenge me to grow. And I'll say it did exactly that. Moving right along. So I was in Minnesota for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year of school. Then I relocated back to New Jersey after my sophomore year. My original plan, just so you guys know, was to stay in Minnesota and graduate, like all 4 years, just to stay there, so whatever. I came back to New Jersey after my sophomore year, 2017. Then I took a break for a semester. So then I skipped fall of 2017. So as of 2017, I was still a sophomore. Then I went back to school January 2018, and I didn't go to like a 4-year institution. So what I did in the meantime, because I was still trying to figure out like which school I wanted to go to in New Jersey when I came back, whatever, and just try to get my life together after what pushed me away from Minnesota. So that's why I needed the break. But I knew that I wanted to go back to school, but it was a hassle of me trying to like get into a 4-year school that I could graduate from, being that my original major didn't exist. So I kind of had to like reroute my college experience in a way when I transitioned back to New Jersey. So after I took my semester break, I went to community college just to like stay on top of things and take like general classes that I knew would relate to what my major was going to be, like what I was trying to condition it to now that I had dropped one of my majors. I was originally a double major in peace studies and sociology, but when I came back to New Jersey, I had to drop the peace studies because it didn't exist. But the gag was, I wouldn't say more interested, but originally I was more invested into my peace studies focus, like concentration. So I was taking classes, they're called like double dip classes, where they would fill requirements for both my peace studies and my sociology major. But being that the peace studies classes or major in general didn't exist in New Jersey schools, that kind of set me back a little bit. So after I spent the semester at community college trying to kind of like get myself positioned to transition to a school that I would eventually graduate from, I got accepted to the school that I'm in now, MSU. And honestly, I would just say that like overall, the transitional process of me leaving Minnesota, coming back to New Jersey, getting readjusted in New Jersey, and then continuing my education, I think that if I did not have it in my mind that I wanted to complete school, it would have been very easy for me to get discouraged, because it wasn't easy for me to get back on track. Not that I'm like a problem student or anything like that, but just the documentation of transferring my transcripts back to New Jersey, and then the issue that I was having with my major existing and not existing, or whatever the case may be, that was really a challenge. And then just with each individual's requirements as a transfer student, I think that was probably the most hardest part of trying to understand like where I fit in as a transfer student, because being that I was so proactive and really like piling on all of the stuff that I wanted to do while I was at the community college as much as I could to make up for it, it got to a point where I had like so many credits, and as a transfer student, sometimes schools only accept a certain amount of credits from other institutions in order for you to graduate and get your degree from that school. So that was a little annoying, because at first they weren't trying to give me credit for the classes that I had already taken up until that point when I like became a student at the school that I'm at now. And when I entered, going back to my like regimen of being on track of graduating from undergrad, they originally tried to enter me as a sophomore when I should have been a junior, because I had did the extra work outside of like the traditional environment, I guess, to be on track for school. So that was another issue that I was dealing with. But as of today, we got that figured out, and I will be graduating in May, and I'm very excited about that. And honestly, I'm very proud of myself, because like I said, my experience to get to where I am today was not easy. But I think because of how many different types of experiences I had, it's important for me to share my journey, because it can relate to so many people in so many different playing fields. I have the experience of going to a private school, a private Catholic school and then a school outside of the state that I originally grew up in. And then I have the experience of going to a larger public school. Both of these institutions are predominantly white institutions, but the environment and the social climate on each campus was different. So my experiences were shaped, I would say, by the social climate on each campus. And just honestly, the location of where the campuses were, being on the East Coast versus the West Coast, the Midwest at that, and being in an environment now where I grew up in, but then I have the experience of living on campus and commuting to campus. So honestly, there's so many things that I could talk about just about my experiences and the differences and how well-rounded my perspective is on certain things. Honestly, I think I have a lot of insight to give, but as I'm like breaking this down right now, I'm trying to think of how I would structure certain videos to pinpoint different topics, because there's so much, like, as college students, that people randomly are put in situations where you wouldn't know to ask a question until you're in that situation. And I've been in situations like that where, like, something will happen and I'm in that situation and I'm like, dang, I wish I knew this beforehand. But it's like things that you wouldn't even think to ask, because it's like random. Like, it's like things that are so intricate, and like most times it's usually dealing with like logistics behind like registration for school and paperwork that you got to fill out, you know, FAFSA and all of that. And so it's usually that kind of things, those kind of things. But until you're in certain situations, like, you would have never thought that this would be something that I would even need to ask about. And I have a lot of situations like that that I can relate to, that I would like to share. So I'm not gonna go too much into my experience, because like I said, I just want this video to be like, just so you guys can have an idea of where I'm coming from when I'm going to start talking about certain things, just so you know that I really do have like a broad, non-traditional college experience. And I know that I'm not the only one, but like, I feel like certain things that I'll mention, a lot of people probably won't mention on a platform like this. And people go to college every year. People go to school and just start new journeys every year where they could face some of the similar social problems that I face in college or academic settings in their own personal life, no matter whether it's in college or not. Mine would just be focusing on the context of college. So, hopefully I'll figure out a way to organize my thoughts some more. But I really like, now that I'm thinking about certain topics, like, I really am excited to share these stories, because they will have you out here blindsided. And I mean like universities, colleges, whatever you want to call them, because honestly, these people do not care about you personally, like as an individual, because you have to understand that there's thousands of kids enrolled to these schools, and honestly, they just don't have the time to entertain you on a one-on-one basis in depth all the time. You're not gonna get people in the registrar's office, the financial office, the academics office undivided attention unless you do something wrong, honestly. So you really have to advocate, and there's so many lessons that could be learned just in my experience of self-advocacy that I think other people could learn from too. So I will definitely, like, I know I'm probably rambling or just going all on the deep end right now, but just know that we're gonna have to talk. We got a lot to talk about. So I think that's all I have to say for this video, because at this point I don't wanna say too much and ramble too much, or like the message of what I'm trying to really get out there is missed. So I'm gonna just leave it at this, and I'll come back with another video. But if you have any specific topics, people who are getting ready to graduate from high school, going into college, and want to know about schools in their state versus schools outside of state, what that experience is like literally any college questions you have, like, just ask, because I probably have an answer or an idea of an answer, or we could just chat. Like, I want to know what y'all stressing about, because especially and this is probably the last thing I'm gonna say for real, as a woman of color, as someone who understands that the pursuit of higher education is not only a choice but an investment on your future. And as someone who honestly just understands all of my privileges in a way, I'm gonna skedaddle in a jiffy, but peep the sweatshirt. Just certain advantages that I have over certain situations. It's important for you to know, even before you decide what kind of college you want to go to, what you want to study, like just to know yourself as an individual before you even get yourself into these environments, I think is very important. And that's something that I really like. If y'all don't get nothing else from these college videos, I really hope that y'all understand that. Like, it's so important to be able to establish your own sense of identity so that when you get into these spaces and when you start the journey of completing a college education, you know who you are, you know why you're choosing to do what you're choosing to do, study what you're choosing to study, and you can remain motivated and keep the end goal in mind, because there are going to be times, even if you never experienced any of the things that I'm talking about, as far as like struggles and stuff like that, there are going to be times where you just question, like, why the heck am I still in school? Especially because you graduated. It's not mandatory to go to college, but you're gonna have moments like that, like, who told me to do this? Who told me who told me to sign up for this debt? I think the amount of independence that you get when you graduate high school and you really start to make your own decisions really makes or breaks how you view things, because you're so young. So like, just know I'm here for you. Just know we're in this together. I got you. And it's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to not know things. And it's okay to look at yourself like, girl, boy, she, he, they. Am I really doing this because this is something that I want to do? Am I doing this because I feel like I'm pressured because of how society is set up? Like, you really want to start asking yourself questions that is just like, you're trying to find out what your purpose is, and just know that that's normal. And you're going to get through those moments where you feel like you can't answer those questions for yourself, or the answers to those questions will stress you out, and that'll be okay too, because at the end of the day, you know that your hard work will pay off. So, like I said, that's the last thing that I was going to say, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Did I say guy or guys? Like I said, that was the last thing that I'm going to say. I'm not going to ramble anymore, but like, I am here, like, period. I'm really here, and I'm open to talk. Sometimes in real life, I could be a little reserved because I spend a lot of time in my head. But like, and I have a resting snitch face, but I'm really an approachable person. Like, I'm really an approachable person, for real. So with that being said, I'm gonna just go. I don't know how to end this video, but we just gonna end it